My boyfriend is losing his memory every day, and I have to win him back again and again. Hello, everyone. My name is Rose. I'm 21 years old. My boyfriend is losing his memory every day, and I have to win him back again and again. Can you imagine this? Your most precious and loved one will not remember who you are every single day. And this is exactly what happened to my boyfriend Rick. He has a mental condition that he's forgetting his girlfriend, which is me, every day. He does remember some things, like his name and his job, but he never remembers me. So even though we spend every day together, when Rick goes to bed and the clock strikes midnight, he's forgetting who I am and our love turns into a pumpkin like in a Cinderella fairy tale. This is horrible. How could this happen, you'll ask? Now sit back with a cup of coffee and I will tell you my story from the very beginning. I have a favorite cafeteria near my home and I go there every day after school to buy me a sandwich and a soda. But once a friend of mine invited me to go and have lunch at a new place that just got opened in our neighborhood. There I saw a waiter, a very handsome guy. I fell in love with him at first sight. I decided to make friends with him and I had a small chat with him while he served our order. His name was Rick. He wasn't only handsome, but he was also very smart and with a great sense of humor. I felt totally happy. We had a great chat in the cafeteria and then he invited me to go for a walk in the park that evening. I sure agreed. We spent a great day together, and then when it got late and I had to go home, we kissed and exchanged phone numbers. I was head over heels with love. When I woke up the next morning, I decided to call him. But when I dialed his number, a voice answered and told me that I dialed the wrong number. I was upset. Did he give me a fake number? I decided to find out. So I went to the same cafeteria to find out what was going on. And you know what? He was there. I came up to him and I looked him in the eye and I asked, "Why did you give me a fake number? What is going on?" He looked very surprised. He didn't recognize me at all. He said that he didn't know who I am and what I was talking about. He also said he saw me for the first time in his life. Then he smiled at me and said that I am very nice and he would like to invite me for a date. That was quite a surprise for me. At first, I thought that he was just kidding, but then I realized he wasn't joking. He really did not remember our meeting yesterday. But how is that possible? Could it be just a mistake? Or was it just my night dream and my vivid imagination? Or did I just lose my mind? So I had to start it all over again and get introduced to Rick and have a conversation with him. While we talked, I remembered and told him some details about his life that he told me yesterday. He was surprised that I knew all of this, and he suggested that I'm a magician who could see into other people's lives. We spent the whole day together again, but this time he was even more interested in me. So in the evening, he kissed me and invited me for a cup of coffee at his house. I agreed. So we went to his house and kissed again. And then he switched off the lights and we spent the night together. And we fell asleep in the arms of each other. In the morning, I woke up because someone sharply pushed my hands off. I opened my eyes and I saw Rick, who looked very angry and held a bat in his hands. "Who are you, and what are you doing in my house? Empty your pockets immediately," he shouted at me. I thought it must be a bad joke, but Rick didn't remember anything, as if he just lost his mind again. "Stay here and do not move. I will call the police right now," Rick shouted. After a while, I heard the police car coming. and a policeman arrived. He said he knew Rick's parents and that he will figure everything out. He asked me to talk to him in private. When we went out into the street, Mr. Jones, the policeman, said that it would be better for me not to date Rick and leave him alone for his own good. He said that Rick has a diagnosed mental illness and he doesn't remember people. So that's what it was. I thought Rick was just a crazy guy and a cheater, but it turned out that he just had his mental illness. But I really liked Rick. He had a great personality and he was an amazing guy. I never met people with these mental conditions before, but I decided to put an effort and stay with him and try to win him back no matter what. The first thing I did was to get a job as a waitress in the same cafeteria he worked. I was smiling at him and telling him compliments every day, and every evening he would invite me for a date. But the next day he would come to work and look at me and say, "What a beautiful waitress, nice to meet you. Have you just been hired? Is this your first day at work?" He didn't remember me at all, so I decided to try harder and put in a stronger effort. I would dress up as a different person and come and talk to Rick, pretending I'm someone else to get to know him in a new way. I ordered a lot of new costumes and uniforms on the internet. One day, I would dress up as a road worker and then stop Rick's car and tell him the driveway is closed and is under repair. Another day, I would get dressed up as a policeman and demand to check his ID and his documents. I would also pretend to be a doctor, a lawyer, a flight attendant, and whatnot. I changed my image every day. I had my hair colored. But it wouldn't work. Rick would just forget me the next day again and again. One day, his parents called me and they said they want to meet me and talk to me. I came to their house and they invited me in. They were very nice people. They told me they were watching me and they understood I had serious feelings for their son Rick and I wouldn't give up. So they decided to tell me his real story. They showed me an article from a newspaper about a plane crash 2 years ago. Rick was on that flight and he was the only one who survived. He was taken to hospital and got his medical recovery there. But when he left the hospital, he still wouldn't remember the plane crash and whatever happened after that. So his memory just wouldn't process these all new things and would drop them all off. Since then, they made many attempts to help Rick and tell him about the crash, but it would hurt him a lot. And the next day, he wouldn't remember anything again. So, in the end, they just decided not to hurt and disturb Rick anymore and let him live his own life. They said he's living a miserable and unbearable life. But that's all he got, and we can't help him. And we want to ask you to please leave him alone. It will be better for you and for Rick. We wish you to find another good boyfriend in your life. You can please go now, as Rick will be back any minute, they told me in the end. They walked me out of the door, but then suddenly Rick appeared, and he came back for a reason. Surprisingly, he seemed to recognize me this time, but he didn't remember where we met. When his parents heard that, they burst into tears because finally they got hope that Rick might get his memory back one day. So I decided to help Rick and his parents as much as I could. I went home and I thought hard about what I can do to speed up his memory process. And suddenly, I got a brilliant idea. I decided to keep track of everything that he did during a day and have it all video recorded and then show him this video recording the next day. So that's what I did. I started recording things for him and showed them to him. I also recorded news from his past life and even things that happened with that horrible plane crash. Time passed and I added more and more video recordings from our wedding and with the birth of our children. Every morning I played this video recording to Rick and every time he's overwhelmed with emotions. But after he watches this video, he's totally okay and he's well aware of all the latest events in our life. It's always interesting to see his emotional reaction. He feels really excited to watch the Niagara Falls or the Maya pyramids in Mexico, as if he has just seen them for the first time. Rick and I traveled all over the world, and he was at this Niagara Falls waterfall at least 20 times, and even more times on the Maya pyramids. Of course, it is not great when you don't remember anything the next day, but there are also many positive sides to it. For example, Rick can watch all the best movies one night, and then the next day he can watch them again and get the same true and sincere emotions. And he would also have the same experience with games, music, and other entertainment. Rick also says that every time he kisses me, it feels like the first time. You should have seen his reaction when he finds out that he has a wife and 2 children. I can't imagine what will happen when he gets old and he has grandchildren. So, despite all the difficulties, we still love each other and we are always together. Love can overcome any barriers in life. Do you agree with me? What do you think of my story? Share your feedback, and if you liked the video, subscribe to the channel and give it a like.